Hello, and welcome to the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA Rural Development, RD Applicant Orientation Guide video. This video will inform you of agency processes, procedures, requirements, and obligations before and after closing of a single-family housing direct loan. At the end of the video, you will be required to sign Form RD 3550-23 and return it to the RD office processing your request, which will indicate you have reviewed this video in its entirety. If you need assistance with viewing or completing any part of this guide or video, please contact the RD office processing your request. They will be able to help answer any questions should they arise. Now, go ahead and grab a pen and paper to take notes and/or jot down any questions. You may press pause, then play when you are ready to resume. Now, let's get started with your rights as an applicant. USDA is an equal opportunity employer, provider, and lender. USDA civil rights regulations and policies prohibit discrimination in agency programs for any reason. The Department's non-discrimination statement, which includes contact information for individuals requiring alternative communication means and information on filing a program discrimination complaint, can be found at the following website. You also have the right to appeal program administrative actions if you are adversely affected. For example, having payment assistance reduced, canceled, or not renewed. Now that we have reviewed your equal opportunity and appeals rights, let's discuss inspections. Applicants are responsible for property inspections needed to protect their own interests for existing dwellings. Third-party inspections help determine if the property meets standards set by RD. To verify that all major systems are adequate, applicants purchasing an existing home must engage the services of a state license inspector. The inspector will perform a whole house inspection and certify that the dwelling meets the agency standards with respect to termites and other pests. This may be separate from the whole house inspection. Plumbing, water and sewage, heating and cooling, electrical systems, and structural soundness. The inspection report must be a comprehensive document that meets the minimum standards of the Professional Home Inspector Associations. When a state does not license inspectors, a qualified independent third-party inspector may perform the inspection and provide the necessary certifications. The agency will provide you with a document called Settlement Service Providers, which can assist you in finding an inspector. This will briefly be discussed as we continue. RD does not guarantee the value or condition of a home it finances. If problems arise with the condition of the home after loan closing, you may contact the RD office processing your loan request about pursuing a subsequent loan for repairs. Now, we will move to the section entitled Closing. At this time, we will discuss down payments. Applicants who have non-retirement assets above thresholds set by the agency are required to use those assets toward the purchase of a property. Let's briefly review what non-retirement assets are. Non-retirement assets include, but are not limited to, cash on hand and funds in savings or checking accounts, stocks, bonds, and other forms of capital investments, equity in real property or other capital investments, amounts in trust funds that are available to the household, lump sum receipts such as inheritances, capital gains, and lottery winnings, and personal property held as an investment. Now, we will talk about settlement service providers as mentioned earlier. A list of settlement service providers will be provided to you. These service providers perform settlement services associated with your loan. The services that you can shop for will be listed on the loan estimate. You may select any settlement service provider, but if you choose to go with a service provider outside of the list, please notify the agency to make sure the provider is aware of the agency's loan requirements. Now, let's move to the paragraph which discusses title insurance. Title insurance is important because it provides protection to the lender and homeowner from financial loss, which may occur if there are defects in the title of your soon-to-be purchased home. The applicant generally must secure title insurance. although in rare cases, a title opinion from an attorney may be used if acceptable to the agency. Again, RD provides applicants with a document called Settlement Service Providers, and you are not required to choose a service provider from this list. You may find a qualified service provider on your own. Title insurance is only required when the total indebtedness exceeds an amount specified by the agency. Check with your loan originator. The next paragraph we'll cover from the Applicant Orientation Guide discusses the closing agent/attorney. An attorney or title company may act as a closing agent who can close agency real estate loans, provide necessary title clearance services, and perform other closing-related duties. The applicant must choose a closing agent who is acceptable to the agency. A closing agent/attorney is required for loans over an amount specified by the agency, and your loan originator will inform you if a closing agent/attorney is required. Let's move to closing cost information. The applicant, seller, or both are responsible for paying closing costs at loan closing. Typical costs are outlined in the orientation guide you have in front of you, so please review these carefully. In addition to these costs, applicants must make an initial deposit to the escrow account. This is in anticipation of property taxes and insurance that will come due in the year after closing. Escrow is discussed in more detail a little later. Borrowers may finance these costs, which can help to reduce the amount of out-of-pocket money that you may have to bring to closing. The agency will provide you with a loan estimate disclosure within 3 business days after receipt of a completed application, which is designed to provide information that will help you understand the key features and costs of a loan. Prior to closing, you will also receive a closing disclosure, which is designed to provide firm and final information about the cost of the loan, including a detailed itemization of the settlement of charges. The next paragraph we'll be reviewing is titled Document Errors and Omissions. This paragraph explains that should a situation arise where it is discovered that loan documents contained errors or omitted necessary information, the borrower must agree to execute, acknowledge, initial, and deliver requested documents to the lender or closing agent within 10 days of receipt, or pay all costs which the lender sustains, including reasonable attorney fees. Regular payments must be made on or before the due date and will not be applied until the full scheduled payment is made. Failure to make timely payments can result in late charges, reporting to credit repositories, offsets of income, foreclosure. If for any reason a payment cannot be made on time, you should immediately contact the CSC. Notification will not, however, prevent the assessment of a late fee. This fee is typically 4% of your principal and interest payment or other amount authorized by state law. You will have several options for making your mortgage payment. You may authorize funds to be automatically withdrawn from your designated bank account, or access the web portal to make payments online, or call CSC to pay by phone. You may also mail a check or money order, or send a MoneyGram or Western Union Quick Collect payment. Additional information on each payment option is included in a guide that you will receive from CSC once your loan closes. Borrowers generally are required to establish escrow accounts. Section 504 home repair loans are typically exempt from this requirement if the total indebtedness against the property will not exceed the threshold established by the agency. The escrow account is maintained by CSC on behalf of the borrower for the payment of taxes and insurance. Borrowers with escrow accounts can pay an amount each month in addition to their principal and interest payment, which is deposited into the escrow account for the payment of future taxes and insurance bills. The agency will pay taxes and insurance premiums when they are due with funds from the borrower's escrow account. Borrowers are responsible for obtaining and continuously maintaining hazard insurance throughout the term of the loan. Section 504 home repair loans are generally exempt from this requirement if the property's total indebtedness is under the threshold established by the agency. If a borrower's insurance is canceled, the agency may purchase insurance for the borrower and charge the borrower's account for the cost of the insurance. Flood insurance is also required if the property is determined to be located in a Special Flood Hazard Area, or SFHA, at the time of loan closing or subsequently during the life of the loan. The loan originator will notify the borrower using Form RD 3550-6. Notice of special flood hazards, flood insurance purchase requirements, and availability of federal disaster relief assistance if the property is in an SFHA. If flood insurance cannot be secured, the property is not eligible for federal financial assistance. Section 504 home repair loans are generally exempt from this requirement if the loan/grant is under the threshold established by the agency. Borrowers are responsible for maintaining their properties throughout the life of the loan. The agency may advance funds to pay for repairs that are needed to protect the government's interests. Failure to protect the agency's security is a non-monetary default and could result in foreclosure. Energy cost savings can make a big difference in a borrower's ability to make regular loan payments. Utility companies and county extension offices may be able to suggest ways to conserve energy. Credit counseling is available for any borrower who experiences difficulty in meeting their monthly mortgage payment obligation. Borrowers may call 1-800-793-8861 to obtain counseling from a representative or by using a touch-tone phone to access account information. If you're experiencing a financial hardship, please contact CSC to discuss servicing options that may be available to you, such as breaking the delinquency into monthly payments or spreading payments over 2 years or the remaining term of the loan. If an account becomes delinquent, a borrower may agree to pay an extra amount each month in addition to the scheduled payment to bring the account current within 2 years or the remaining term of the loan, whichever is shorter. Borrowers who continue to personally occupy the property may apply for a postponement of payments for up to 2 years if they are temporarily unable to continue making scheduled payments on their loan without unduly impairing their standard of living due to a decrease in their income. If approved, eligibility for a moratorium agreement is reviewed periodically and is subject to cancellation. When the borrower is able to resume scheduled payments or when the moratorium agreement expires, the loan will be re-amortized to include the amount deferred during the moratorium. All or part of the interest that accrued during the moratorium may be forgiven if the borrower does not have repayment ability. If a loan is re-amortized, the missed payments and other charges are added to the amount owed and the monthly payments are revised and spread over the remaining term of the loan. Your monthly payment will increase due to the re-amortization. This is also known as a loan modification. The government may pay for major defects in construction that are not repaired by the builder for construction loans initiated by the agency. If the contractor does not fulfill his or her obligation, the agency may seek to debar the contractor. Borrowers must file a claim with the RD office processing their request within 18 months of the date that the borrower signs the final inspection. In this portion of the guide review, we will be discussing the topics of subsequent loans, actions requiring agency approval, and refinancing with private credit. A subsequent loan can be made as part of the original purchase of the property or in combination with a loan assumed from the seller, or it can be made during the term of the loan for an existing borrower to help pay for repairs or improvements to the property. A borrower must obtain approval from the agency before taking action that may affect the security value of the property. Key actions that require approval from the agency include subordination of the loan, mineral leases, partial release of security, lease of security property, and assumptions of indebtedness. Agency credit is not intended to replace conventional credit. When the agency believes the borrower can obtain private credit at the prevailing rates and terms in the area, the borrower will be required to apply for, and if approved by the lender, accept a loan sufficient to pay the balance of the agency debt in full, with the exception of deferred recapture. Recapture of payment subsidy will be discussed as we continue. A periodic review of your ability to qualify for private financing will occur after your loan has closed. Unauthorized assistance includes any loan, payment subsidy, or grant for which there was no authorization or for which the recipient was not eligible. Account adjustments may be made to correct for the receipt of unauthorized assistance, and any subsidy granted improperly will be repaid by the borrower. Borrowers who receive unauthorized assistance based on false information provided intentionally to obtain benefits are at risk of losing their loan, debarment from participation in federal benefit programs, and civil and criminal prosecution. We will be discussing payment subsidies further in the next section of your applicant orientation guide. Payment subsidy is only available for Section 502 program loans. Qualifying for payment subsidy, which will largely depend on your income, will help reduce your monthly loan payment and increase your repayment ability. Your income will be reviewed annually to confirm continued eligibility and to adjust the subsidy amount if necessary. As the borrower, you must occupy the property and inform the agency of any changes in employment status by any adult member of your household, family status, or when your income increases by more than 10%. Report any changes in your income to CSC. Please know that payment subsidy is subject to the agency's recapture requirement. Recapture of payment subsidy is calculated at the time of loan payoff. Under certain conditions, recapture can be deferred, such as when a borrower refinances the agency loan with private credit or otherwise pays the loan in full. Subsidy recapture is due when you cease to live in the property or transfer the title. If you pay off a loan, you have the option of deferring payment of recapture as long as the title does not transfer and you continue to occupy the property. As you just saw, we are now on the certification section of your applicant orientation guide. You need to thoroughly read each certification statement. Finally, you need to provide the necessary acknowledgement by signing a hard copy of Form RD 3550-23 Applicant Orientation Guide and returning it to the RD office processing your loan request. Congratulations! You have completed an important step in the home buying process. Please return this fully executed form to the loan originator as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and best of luck.